Welcome! Today we're transforming a character into a hologram in Unreal Engine 5. Let's dive in and bring this effect to life. Go ahead and open up your content browser and right-click to create a new material. Let's name this M_hologram. Double-click to open it and drag it to its own browser. With the main material node selected, change the blend mode to translucent and the shading model to unlit. Now let's get started with the emissive color. Go ahead and hit 3 and click, and double click here so that we can make a nice blue color. Make it a little bit more teal. And let's change the V value to 25. This will make our color glow. So now let's plug this in here and hit apply, and let's go ahead and place this material on our character so we can see what we're working with, which is a bright blue man right now. Now it's glowing everywhere, and I want the glow to be more on the edge of my character, so I'm going to add a Fresnel. So right click in your material and type in Fresnel. Now we need to multiply these together, so hold down M and click, and go ahead and drop the Fresnel output to the A and the color output to the B, and the multiply to the emissive. And let's change the exponent from 5 to 4. Feel free to play and explore with these values. So now when I hit apply, I see that the glow is more centralized on the edge of our character, which is great. Now one thing I'm not so fond of is this happening right here. We can see through our character completely, and that creates such a weird looking silhouette. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix this. So if we go back to our material here, let's push this higher, and let's go ahead and add a scene texture. With the scene texture selected, use this drop down menu and type in custom depth. And now we need to make sure in our main material we can type in custom and check on allow custom depth rights, and also in our character type in custom depth and make sure the render custom depth pass is checked on. That will ensure that this effect will work for us. So now that we have all that checked on, we're gonna need to add a couple more nodes to make this work. So let's go ahead and right click and type in pixel and add pixel depth. Now we wanna mask some of the pixel depth, which is what will mask the arm behind. So let's go ahead and drag out from color and type in mask, component mask. Go ahead and exit out of the custom, and then use this drop down menu and uncheck the G value. We just want to be using the R. And now we want to use the subtract node. So drag out from the output of the mask and type in subtract. And let's go ahead and put the pixel depth into B. Now if you want to organize these a little bit better, you can select them and then hit Q. That will put them all in a line, which is nice for organizing. And now we just have some subtracted, and we need to add a little bit of pixels back. So drag out from the subtract and type in add. And let's give that B value 0.2. And now we're just gonna add an overall multiply value. So hold down M and click, and we'll put the add into B. And for the A value, let's go ahead and make a parameter. So hold down S and click. And let's go ahead and name this opacity, since it'll just be the overall opacity bit. And I'm going to give this a value of 0.5. And so now when I plug this into the opacity here and hit apply, we can no longer see the arm in the background, so we have a much cleaner silhouette, which is great. Nice. So now let's go ahead and add some stripes and movement to this. So I'm going to unplug this and go to my textures folder, and I'll provide the textures in my description below. So now we just have some stripes, and if I were to just plug this into the opacity by itself, we're going to see an issue where only the chest is parallel to the floor. The arms and the feet aren't parallel, and that's because it's using the character's UV, and we want it to use the world position. So let's go back to our material and right click and type in world position and add that. And now we also want this to move, so let's go ahead and add a time node. So let's go ahead and hit A to add an add parameter, and let's go ahead, drag out from the Z and plug it into the A and the output of time into B. And so now when I put this into the UV map and hit apply, we're left with the lines all in the world position, but right now they're too thin, and if I zoom in closely without getting too dizzy, you can see that the lines are actually traveling down instead of up. So let's go back here and fix that. And in order to do that, I'm going to hold down M and click, and we can drag the time output into A, and instead of having the B value be 1, I'm going to have it be -1. This will make the lines go up instead of down. So let's drag the output of the multiply into the B. And then to increase the texture here, let's add another multiply node. So hit M and click, and drag the add output into the A. And I'm going to give this a value of 1.5, and then drag that output into the UV and hit apply. And so now when I look at my character, the lines are bigger and they're going up, which is perfect. And so now I want to go ahead and add a grid to kind of break up these lines a little bit more and make it look even more like a hologram, as well as add a bit more Fresnel. So let's go ahead and go back to our material, right click and type in Fresnel. Instead of the regular one, I'm going to add the Fresnel function. This gives us even more features, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and add a camera vector here. So right click and type in camera vector WS for world space, and plug this in to there. And let's go ahead and add a parameter to the power here. So hit S and click. We can call this Fresnel power. Plug this into power, and let's give this a value of 2.5. Nice, and now let's go ahead and go back to our texture folder and add this T grid to our scene. Instead of a world position, I'll be using a screen position. This is a bit similar, but instead of reacting to the world, it's reacting to the camera. And I want this to move as well, so I'm going to drag off and add a panner. I'm going to give the Y, which will make it move vertical, a value of 0.05. And then I'm going to add another multiply just because I want to scale our texture again. So I'm going to put the output of the panner into the multiply A. I'm going to change the B to 5. And I'm going to plug the output into the UV. And now we're going to need to connect these together. So let's go ahead and hit M and click. Let's put the Fresnel output into the A and the texture output into the B. Let's add one more multiply, and we're going to plug this into the A. And for the B, let's go ahead and make a parameter. So hit S and click, and let's call this glow, as it will just add a bit more glow to our effect. And I'll give this a value of 10. And let's go ahead and drag this a bit outward. And we need to go ahead and add all of these three together so they go into the opacity. So I'm going to add another multiply, and we can plug this one into the B and the first texture with the stripes into the A. And then I'm going to add these two together. So hit A and click, and we'll put this one into the B and this one into the A. Let me just push this back a little bit. And we can clean this up a little bit more at the end too, but for the purposes of the tutorial, I'll just try to make this fast. Nice, and so now let's plug this into the opacity and hit apply. And nice, now we got a nice holographic material that's moving upwards and has a grid system to it. Let me go ahead and hit play, and boom, here's our hologram character. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, I think you'll like the tutorial that just popped up. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a breakdown of the lighting and particle setup for this effect, and like and subscribe for future Unreal tutorials. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.